beautiful sunny day here in Gaddafi Stadium, Lahore, as we enter match number 6 with Peshawar Zalmi taking on Karachi Kings. Welcome to HBL PSL 9 pitchside studio. Now, both these teams, they've started off on a losing note. Peshawar Zalmi lost their first game. Karachi Kings as well lost their first game. Peshawar Zalmi came close. There was a bit of a partnership between Peshawar Zalmi and Saim Ayub, and then a bit of mix-up, after which they couldn't really carry on any kind of momentum in their batting. Karachi Kings is definitely a side. When you look at them, they are looking to reverse their fortunes this season, but they haven't really got a combination going. Still too early in the tournament, a long way to go. So plenty to talk about with my lovely set of experts next to me, Sana Amir, and of course, the legend, Dominic Cork. Sana, just going to talk about Karachi Kings with you first, because they've not had the best of seasons in the last few years, and this year they've started off no different, just in terms of the combination that they've got. Where do you personally think they're lacking?
I think what's good for them is Shan Masood has had a good record in captaincy and leadership, so maybe that will become a good point for them, as he brings a lot of calmness to any team he goes with his leadership. But I do feel in the last game they were a better shot. I do think that they have got some replacements in their squads, so maybe they can add some there, and their bowling is not as great as well. So the people have to really step up, because some of their main bowlers have gone to other teams, like Imad Wasim was brilliant with in the power play, Muhammad Amir. So those shoes are big to fill. So I think that's where they'll have to step up.
Where does Peshawar Zalmi need to step up, Corky?
Well, I'd say, obviously, after their last game was with the run chase and trying to obviously make sure that they judge it right. It was a great opening stand, we knew that, but it's just trying to get, you know, one of those top 4 in and stay in. Babar obviously led with his half-century, but the likes of Mohammed Harris and TKC, Tom Kohler, Cadmore, I think they're at quite a well-balanced side. I think they conceded, over 206 runs here. So, you know, there's I think if you look at all teams at the moment, they've slightly got to get better with either bowling, batting, and in the field too.
Right, and teams seem to be preferring chasing down any kind of totals, and that's what happened earlier on the toss today as well. Karachi Kings won the toss, and Shan Masood decided to field first. They've also made a couple of changes, but we'll start off with Zalmi, who will be batting first. They've made one change, Corky, just an additional spinner in the form of Waqar Salimki.
Yeah, so Salam Keeler's in, Mousley out, obviously, so that's really like for like, apart from, obviously, you know, he's a wrist spinner, more left-hand wrist spinner, so he's got the ability to perhaps turn it both ways. Like I just said about the Zalmi, it's simple. It's about the side just getting a little bit better. And it's led well, obviously, at the top 2 there, Saim Ayub and obviously Babar Azam with that opening partnership. They want more from Mohammed Harris, obviously Tom Kohler, Cadmore, and then where they're bowling, you know, Luke Wood has got to take that responsibility, take early wickets, and that has been the problem. With the PSL at the moment, it's taking wickets in the power play as a batting side, get the runs on the board.
Sana, what about Karachi? A couple of changes for them today.
Absolutely. I think Mohammad Dekhlaq in place of Saad Beg, who has an injury. I think it's a blessing in disguise, because Mohammad Dekhlaq has been making a lot of runs. Well-deserved spot for him there. Then comes in Irfan Khan Niazi, an emerging player who can really bat also, as well as right arm medium pace, he can bat as well. So the batting that they were lacking, I like the changes for Karachi Kings. Now, I think the Brace Shamsi, his overs and Hassan Ali's over will be very, very important for Karachi, especially as they're bowling first. To restrict them, it's going to be really important.
What's going to be important for Peshawar Zalmi is that, Corky, they don't have a mix-up like they had the other day. Babar Azam and Saim Ayub, they've been good in partnerships, but it ended terribly.
Yeah, you know, he's been involved in a few, shall we say, as well. I don't like saying, I think it's 17 and 11 times he hasn't been out. So, you know, it happens in T20. You've got to take risks at time, but they got themselves into a good position. And you know, you're going to have run-outs, and it's all about communication. Everything just has to tighten up, and I think that's what I'm trying to say throughout all the teams at the moment. It's slightly just getting that communication better, fielding better as a side, executing plans with the ball. But ultimately, if them two get off to a good start, they're going to get a big score here. That looks obviously again a good wicket. The weather's beautiful, so it should be a big score, and let's see if they can defend it from there.
I'm going to talk about Hassan Ali, Sana, because he's been obviously somebody who had an injury and then sort of was getting it back into the game with improving his fitness and working on it. He needs to step up for Karachi Kings because they're relying on him.
Yeah, I do think his role is now for Karachi Kings in the middle overs and in the death overs, and that's where a lot of matches are won and lost. I do think his experience will come into play. All he has to do is execute, and the fielders kind of come around him, because in this tournament especially we have seen till now a lot of missed chances. So with Hassan Ali operating, he brings in a lot of energy for any team, and in those middle and death overs I think he will be the key for Karachi Kings.
I just want to add to that. When you've got the ability and you've got obviously the experience of Hassan Ali, that's what you want in a T20 side and franchise, is you want your experienced players to stand up and say, we can lead this team. And obviously Hassan Ali is part of that. Shoaib Malik is part of that as well. So that's important for any team out there. Sign your senior over players and they lead the team.
Have you played with Shoaib Malik at all? Because it seems like he's still going strong, Koki. He looks fit and he's still pretty much there playing his cricket.
Played against him a little bit towards the end of my career. He's obviously a little bit younger than me. He's always been a good player, and you can tell that he's obviously a very fit player. He's still keen to play, and he obviously in his last performance, half century. You know, he's an important part to any team because he can bat, bowl, and field.
All right, quickly, Sana, then what do you think that Zalmi is going to feel comfortable with as a target? Because we've seen on the fresh pitches, there have been over 200 runs that have been conceded by sides.
I do think this pitch is a bit different, maybe a bit more dry, so might not be a 200 pitch, but something around 185 plus, that has to be there with their batting power, and they've got an extra specialist spinner which they were missing, Peshawar Zalmi. So I do think anything above 185 plus should be a good score.
220. That's what I think they're going to look at. 220. I think they're going to try and put the runs on the board. It's a beautiful day here in Lahore. It's a little bit warmer than we've had. Let's hope we've got another good game. What are we? Match 6, match 4 here.
Match 6.
Yeah, match 6, match 4 here at this ground. So let's see what they can put on. But I think Baba's going to go out there and say, right, we're going to get 220.
All right, you heard it from Koki. Then 220 is what he feels they should be looking at. Babar Azam will need to get off to a good start for that as well. We're going to take a short break, and when we do come back, remember Peshawar Zalmi are batting first. Karachi Kings won the toss and they decided to bowl first. They made a couple of changes as well. 2 changes in their side, a different looking side. They'll be looking to get their first win.